Okay, so previously I made a video sharing what my day in the life was like as a venture capital intern. Now that video was posted a couple months ago, and now I'm currently back at college, so I'm not doing that internship right now, but I do want to share what my overall experience was like. So specifically like how I got that internship, the structure of that internship, for example, like the projects that I did. And then I also just want to share my overall experience during that internship. I know that this is internship season. A lot of people are applying for internships. So if you're currently going through the VC interview process, or if you've already gotten an offer, this video will be very helpful for you. I definitely wish that I had this video before my internship experience. So definitely keep watching because this video is going to be very informative. Okay, so how did I get this internship? So the first thing that I did was I just went on Handshake and I looked up venture capital internships, and I happened to see that this internship was from HBCU VC, and they were partnered with Pledge LA. HBCU VC is very known for having internships for underrepresented founders or investors. So I was already familiar with that specific program, or at least I was familiar with HBCU VC. So I ended up, applying for that venture capital internship. And basically what the process was I had to apply to get into the Pledge LA HBCU VC cohort. And then once I got into that cohort, that program basically partnered me with a couple venture capital firms that I had to interview for. So basically this was a 2-round interview process, and I didn't need any venture capital experience prior. In fact, I didn't have any. And I was only a sophomore at the time that I applied for that internship. So yeah, that's basically like how the recruitment process went. If I were to give any tips for how to get a VC internship, I would just say to really focus on your why. So why are you applying for the internship in the first place, and what value can you specifically deliver to a VC firm? And that can just purely be your unique perspective. So whether it's, you're from like a different country and you have like a different background, whatever, but just really leaning into your strengths and your why. That's really important during the process. And also for whatever firm you're interviewing for, just make sure that you do your basic due diligence and know like just the basics of what that firm invests in. So like what vertical are they investing in, just basic stuff. So yeah, those are just my tips. Just do your due diligence and make sure that you know your why. Okay, so the structure of my internship was basically, so I had like a training program. I think that program lasted for like 4 weeks. But basically, so I had like, I think 4 sessions where I did training just for basics about VC. I had to do like a module just to prepare for it. So yeah, I had training before I did my internship. So if you're worried about like, you don't have prior VC experience, don't worry, because usually like if you're applying for a firm, they're going to give you training, or whatever program that connected you to that firm will give you training. So usually, especially as like an undergraduate student, you don't have to have VC experience or prior VC knowledge to be able to, get the internship and actually do the work. Okay, so after that 4-week training, we also had a 1-week in-person training. So basically I went out to LA and I had like, in-person training. And I remember we went over like how to do investment memos, how to do due diligence on a company. And then we also did like a project where we basically pitched a company that we would invest in. Obviously, like your training will vary based on, what firm you apply for, just like whatever you're applying for. But yeah, I think basic training will mainly be just like doing investment memos and knowing how to do due diligence, because that's like the main aspect of VC. Okay, so after that training period, I worked for my firm for 2 months. So from mid-June to mid-August. Again, this will vary by whatever firm or internship you're doing. But basically, I did 3 projects. And so 2 of the projects I can talk about, 1 I can't. But basically, for those projects, my firm was in the middle of fundraising. And if you've been following VC, then you'll know that fundraising has been slow because of the economy. So basically what I did was I had to look at my firm's investment like portfolio. And then I was tasked with looking at the specific demographics of who we were investing in and the specific verticals, just looking at all of the data and really organizing that data into a specific deliverable that could be used for pitching LPs. And LPs are basically like investors into the VC fund. I also made a video about like explaining VC, so definitely check that out. But yeah, so my internship experience was basically just doing projects. I didn't get a chance to work on any like deals because again, like fundraising was pretty slow because of the economy. But yeah, I still ended up getting a lot out of those projects. And actually the project that I can't talk about, that was probably like my most interesting project because I had to do like research for that, like not just internal research but actually external research. So yeah, that was like pretty cool. Unfortunately I can't talk about that, but yeah, now I'm gonna kind of move on to just my overall takeaways and what advice I would give to you guys for your internship experience. So overall, I had a positive internship experience. I think the best parts of my internship, number one was meeting founders. I had the chance to meet a lot of founders. And one of my roommates in LA, he was also a founder. So that was pretty cool. So I was able to, go to several events, meet with founders, also meet with investors, and really just understand like what people were working on. So that was really great. And also, especially as someone that was a sophomore at the time, rising junior, it was just great to be able to meet people who were beyond the college space. And I could just see like what their career paths were like to where they actually are now. Another positive thing was I was in a cohort, and so even though I didn't have other interns at my firm, because I was in this cohort, I had like a group of people that I could connect with, and also like if I needed help on a specific project, I could reach out to those people. But I think like having a cohort, you can connect with those people. And in my cohort, most of the people were MBA or post-MBA students. So that was also interesting because again, I was able to like really pick their brains on like, why did they get an MBA? What were they doing before that MBA and why were they doing that work? So I was really able to get a lot out of like really the career decision-making process like after college. So yeah, that was something that I got out of that internship experience. And then of course I got a lot of information on like why VCs invest in what they invest in. So a lot of invest wording there, but yeah, so it was just great to see like their perspective on that. So as someone that identifies as more as like the creator type, it was definitely interesting to just hear like what VCs really value in founders. And then I guess for like some advice, so I think the first thing that I would have done differently is I would have been more intentional about like what I wanted to get out of the internship experience. And I also would have been more intentional about like what value I specifically bring and like some of the problems at the firm that maybe I would have wanted to address. So really having like a specific value proposition, because in VC, like it's not corporate, like VCs are very small generally. So you can actually make an impact if you really show that you have the capability to do so. So that's just something that I wish I was a little bit more intentional about, like really going in and saying like, okay, this is something that I want to work on, because my firm was pretty flexible about that. And then another thing that I would have done differently, and this kind of connects to the last point, but it's to really go in with like specific asks. So for example, like I wish that I would have gotten on more calls with founders, but during the internship process, I never like asked for that. So if you're going into a firm, I would just like, if there's something that you specifically want to do, such as like be on calls with founders, then I would make sure to ask that. Don't be afraid to speak up and ask for things. And then lastly, I would just say that I would have gone to more events. So whether it was hosted by VCs or founders, I did go to a lot of events, but honestly, like I wish that I'd gone to more and just had some more deeper conversations with people. Even though like I did accomplish that, it would have been great to just connect with more people, because it's great to do VC work, but it's more about like the connections that you make and the conversations that you have. So I wish I'd done more of that. But yeah, again, my overall internship experience was very positive, and I hope that from this video, yours can be too. So if you have any more questions about VC, definitely leave them in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got value from it. If you did, definitely like, subscribe, really helps the channel. But yeah, thank you for watching until the end. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.